welcome to Simone Thomas Wellness. I'm Alexandra, skincare specialist, and today we're joined by Sarah, Pilates and PT instructor, talking and sharing her journey about the menopause. Hot topic at the moment, the menopause. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
It's something that I think has become a bit less of a stigma now, and maybe out there, and people are wanting to talk about it. What did you find were your first symptoms with menopause?
I think I initially noticed the spotting and irregular periods, but then it went on to affect my skin, the elasticity of my skin.
Did you find any dryness?
Yeah, dryness. It just wasn't as glowy.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I would say hair loss was quite a big one, like just thinner, drier,
okay.
And when you're washing your hair, it was tending to come out,
okay,
like a lot more than normal. So yeah.
And how do you manage those symptoms now, day to day?
I take the Simone Thomas Wellness supplements and the Ginkgo, amongst other things. I also take vitamin C. I eat better.
Okay. Have you changed your diet at all, or?
I've always been good with my food, generally, but I'm definitely more conscious about the types of food that I eat. I tend to eat for my skin, and you know, you're sort of in a body, so more sort of clean foods.
Any tips? Any foods that you love? That are...
Obviously, oily fish is always going to be good, but you want to make sure, especially if it's salmon, that it's wild.
Okay.
Skin foods would be things like sweet potatoes, almonds. You know, snacking on the right foods like olives, berries. So any
to keep stocking up, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, it makes day to day actually makes it easy, because then you don't tend to snack. I mean, we all love chocolate, and if you do, then generally probably go for dark chocolate, which is always good because it's got copper in it, which is a really good one to support your collagen as well. So all of those work really well together. But yeah, I would say always keep nuts and berries on you. Like I say that I haven't today, but generally if I go to work, that's what I take to work with me to snack on.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and then lots of water, I suppose, loads of water. And
do you find you feel more dehydrated, like when going through menopause, in yourself, more thirsty, or is it just the dull and dry skin that were your first symptoms?
Yeah, I think what happened to me was I always drank a lot of water. But then as I got older, the amount of time that I wanted to visit the toilet became really frustrating. Oh, wow. So I stopped drinking as much water because it used to drive me insane. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle. In the end, I was just like, well, I'm just going to have to drink the water and get used to going to the loo loads. But it is really frustrating. I definitely think that you can't go as long as you get older.
Oh,
that's really embarrassing, isn't it? But you don't.
I think it's the whole thing, isn't it, of this whole stigma, and actually being able to talk about the symptoms is really important, because a lot of women are out there now thinking, oh, I don't want to talk about the fact, going to the loo more often, spotting and irregular periods, and you know, I'm going to say it, vaginal dryness is also a big symptom of menopause as well. Yeah. And people just don't want to talk about these things, and I think actually by highlighting those kind of things really helps. So thank you for
really
for
excited
sharing
about that
all of
one.
that.
That hasn't happened to me yet, but
oh no,
can you imagine?
Just keep taking your skin quencher, your collagen,
it's so
your
nice.
elasticity.
It's so good being a woman, isn't it? There's so many things that we always have to think about, but we seem
do.
To get everything.
And you can definitely support yourself with supplements. So how long have you been taking the supplements now, and did you find that it took a while to notice?
I have been taking the supplements for I think just over a year.
Okay.
And yeah, I would say probably 2 to 3 months before you start to really notice the difference, and like with energy, with the Ginkgo, and I always take the wellness supplements in the morning. I feel like maybe they started to work a bit quicker, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, that they don't work, you know, obviously instant. You're not gonna. But,
and with the everyday wellness, the probiotics, when you say they sort of were a bit quicker to work, how did you feel for you? You noticed, was there any differences at the start there that you thought, oh, that's
I was just
better?
Really sluggish and tired in the mornings as well, and I just felt after taking those, everything became more regular, and I just
brilliant.
Yeah, became. I just felt more
ready
like
for
I had
the world,
more energy most days.
So is it something that you will be continuing to take, you know, recommending and things like that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to risk feeling the way that I felt before, and we'll definitely keep taking them.
Excellent. Yeah. So as a PT instructor, how would you recommend for your clients through exercise, the benefits, you know, when they are going through it? Is there any benefits to exercise during the menopause, and is it harder?
Definitely. I mean, we all want to keep our body functioning and as fit and healthy as possible, especially as we get older and things sort of start to become a little bit harder. I think the more movement you can do, the better, really. So yeah, I would definitely say, especially with men and women should be doing resistance training.
Over cardio, or?
Yeah, you know, I think a little bit of cardio is always good. I always think with any sort of exercise is try and vary it as much as possible, but I would say flexibility and strength is more important than anything, because you need that resistance training. It's good for your bone density, and obviously flexibility, because none of us want to be like seized up and like struggling to get up off of the sofa. So, I mean, we all have days when we get up and we feel a bit stiff, or, you know, I sometimes suffer with like tight Achilles and things like that. So
I notice even in my 30s, waking up now and finding actually I'm having to like almost push down my shoulders and like much tighter in my hips and everything as well. So I'd imagine that just continues as well.
So being aware of that is half the battle. So you are aware of that, and you know that you're kind of, we do tend to live up in our shoulders, especially nowadays with our phones and things. So just sort of being aware of having to like bring your scapula down and relax the shoulders, the traps, but also waking in the morning, and even if you haven't got time to exercise, stretch. It's like really important. If you think about a dog, when it gets up, it always does its little downward dog. So we should be moving. We should be like moving our spines in different positions and, you know, flexing.
It's interesting to hear about how it improves the bone density as well, which I'd imagine during menopause is something that does actually decrease. Is that right?
So obviously women are susceptible to osteoporosis as they get older. So any sort of weights or resistance training is really good for that. It's really important. So yeah.
Thanks, Sarah, so much for all of your help, guidance and tips as well. Is there anything, you know, specific, maybe a few tips from you that you'd recommend for women going through the menopause at the moment?
I mean, I'd definitely say just really be mindful about looking after yourself, but I would advise always to drink water in the mornings. If you want to put lemon or Himalayan pink salt in there, it's a really good natural electrolyte. So a pint of that just to wake you up every morning, to flush out your system before you start the day. And then movement. So waking up, making sure you stretch or do some sort of exercise is really important, just keeping the body flexible. And then your supplements and eating well, making sure you eat healthy. Just, you know, I always think 75% of your diet at least should be all good stuff. And then, you know, you don't mind occasionally like having something a little bit.
Have a little treat.
Yeah, exactly.
Glass of champagne.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, all the time.
It's amazing. Thank you so much.